welcome to Spoilers, Maybe. I'll be your host for a few minutes, and then I'll be joined by Nami, who will tell us all about this movie, even though she does not know what happens yet. Today we'll be watching the one and only Robocop. In a distinctly 80s version of a dystopian future, the mayor of Detroit is getting desperate, so he hands over control of the police department to a company that apparently plans to build a series of death robots to clean up the streets. You know the ones I'm talking about. Unfortunately, they kill people a little too much. So the company must find a compromise. Plan B is to install death robot features onto a human cop. Alex Murphy gets the honor of becoming said Robocop, because after he gets shot a few times on the job, he is not in a condition to say no. Over the course of his adventures, Robocop has learned to be human again, and so he and his best friend Louis live happily ever after. And no further movies were made. Nami has spent 30 years not watching this movie, but we're about to change that. So on with the show. Robocop, 1987, the original. What do you know about it?
It takes place in Detroit, and there's a statue that exists of Robocop out there in the world. I think it's in Detroit. They may have kickstarted it. I don't know. Maybe. I think the movie is about a guy who's a cop, and then he gets hurt really bad because they have to make him out of robot parts going forward. He has a love interest, and I'm...
Okay.
Okay, so epic rap battles of history had Robocop versus the Terminator, and this is what I'm making most of these assumptions with.
Hey, you know, that's better than nothing.
Problem is that I think because it's been a really long time since I saw that rap battle, I might start confusing people.
Uh-huh. So you might think Robocop is Terminator. We haven't watched Terminator yet, so...
I know Terminator has a catchphrase. I don't know if Robocop does. Oh god, I'm sure he does. He has to. It's an 80s thing. Anything made in the 80s has a catchphrase because the 80s had no shame. It's definitely not I'll be back or hasta la vista or anything involving someone whose last name is Connor. Those are all the other guy.
That would be an odd coincidence.
Yeah, that's all the Terminator dude. I can't wait to predict Terminator. I think that was going to be hilarious because I don't know what's fact and fiction with that anymore.
But you'll have a lot more jumbled around in your head.
I will. It'll be... Oh, man. Okay, so if I was a Robocop... All right, so he kind of looks like... Robocop kind of looks like... Oh, what words can't we say? Like, what are you going to have to... Would you have to bleep out if I said space dildo?
I don't think dildo is a bad word.
Well, because he's very streamlined, and I'm trying to think of, like, what else he looks like, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. He's, like, robotic... He's kind of like... Well, I don't want to say this because that's offensive to Geordie LaForge, who's the only Star Trek character I know, because he has the visor, but Robocop also has the visor, and he only has, like, this part.
Like Batman.
Yeah, he's a Batman suit, only very aerodynamic Batman. His visor's red. His suit is primarily black and silver, because he is very fashionable. Well, actually, the people who put him together are fashionable. Was it the police force or the government that made Robocop? I don't know. Why did they make Robocop? I don't know. Oh man, is it to fight like a drug lord? What did they fight in the 80s? What was the big bad of the 80s?
You were there, you should know.
I was there.
All right, well, let's start at the beginning and work our way forward. How do you think he is injured?
Car crash. Or a fire. Okay, maybe the car... car crash. But I'm trying to think if it's a car crash or does a building crash on him. Let's go with car crash. That seems advanced. So I think he was the best cop on the force, and that's why they decided to, like, robotize him. And I think he probably has information, which is why he can't die, because he's going to help solve or crack a major breakthrough. I bet they're fighting Russians. Yeah, I bet Russians are the bad guys.
Okay.
They may or may not be affiliated with Hydra. I doubt it. Oh, does he have a partner? Oh man, does he get a partner? This is a police show. Yes, and his partner's the bad guy. The partner has to betray him. I mean, this is a police movie. And he is such a good guy that it makes the partner go bad.
Will he then kill his partner, the bad person? Or a different bad person?
Will he kill them?
And, like, make a snappy comment of some kind? Or...
No. Okay, so I think, remembering the 80s... The bad guys didn't die because of something that the good guy did. Because the good guy always tries to not kill anyone.
Okay.
Because that's how much of a good guy they are. Is they don't do that. But usually the bad guy ends up fucking himself over. So the bad guy kills himself. Or, oh man, do I want to go the other way where like the partner has a change of heart or like realizes, oh man, brah, my robo brah, I've been like super dick to ya. I'm gonna redeem myself by like taking the magnet. I'm just trying to think of what would kill Robocop at that point. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure they tried to shoot him with bullets, and if they keep trying to shoot him with bullets at the end of the movie, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But I have a feeling because it's the 80s, that's gonna happen. Is there gonna be a helicopter scene? No helicopters.
No helicopters.
I don't think there's gonna be any helicopters. Something about drugs and gambling and like seedy underworld underbelly and like trying to destroy good old American values, which is clearly why it's Hydra.
Hydra loves that drugs and gambling. That's their shtick.
That's how they are able to pay out hazard pay, then prostitution.
I'll go ahead and write drugs and stuff.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll just take it scene by scene.
Oh no.
And determine if that qualifies or not.
Uh-oh, I'm worried. There has to be a montage in this movie. Maybe it's him learning how to use his robot body for good.
Instead of for evil?
Instead of for not good because he can't control it.
Instead of for nothing.
Instead of for holding papers down because he's a gigantic paperweight.
Okay.
The girl ends up loving him despite the fact that he is a robot. And I think he still has emotions, which is why they kept him a little bit human. Ooh, did they? Okay, so I still want to know who turned him into a robot. Is it the government or the police force? It has to be the government. The police force doesn't have that kind of money. So the government totally changes him into Robocop because he's going to be like a test to see if like the Robocop program is a good thing to do. If not, I'm going to write a lot of fan fiction after this.
Because you care that much already.
I care that much already about our good friend Robocop. Robocop. I bet if any sport makes any sort of mention or appearance, it's going to be baseball because that's the American game.
Baseball, if any.
Baseball, if any.
Hedging your bets a little bit there.
You know what? And we can put that in a bonus, like...
Don't give yourself bonuses. That's cheating.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that can be fine.
You don't have to guess it. I'm not forcing you.
I'm going to double down on that guess. What other... Okay, when I say never a helicopter, I mean, like, that's a device that they travel by. I would like to clarify. Like, there are going to be helicopter shots. Man, I feel like there's a helicopter. Oh no. My innards are telling me. My innards are conflicted because... What was that movie that always happens on Christmas with a vengeance?
That would be Die Hard, I think.
Oh, yes. Okay. They made helicopters cool. Shoot, did Die Hard come out before this?
Does that matter?
Yes.
Do you think they stole the idea of helicopters?
No, I don't think they stole the idea, but I think that they were sitting in a boardroom and they were just like, helicopters, man, those did good. There's a helicopter in the movie. Never mind. There doesn't have to be, but...
Do you want me to just cross out helicopters at all?
Well, no, because then if there's a helicopter, I'm going to be freaking angry. Right. I'm going to be furious. Can we have a coin flip? Yeah, let's just say there's a helicopter. There's a helicopter. It has to, like, you need something impressive to explode.
Helicopters.
Yep, there's a helicopter. It sounds like a fantastic movie. I'm going to be disappointed when it's not this.
If you don't have anything else that you're itching to predict, I can ask you a couple of questions.
I'm wondering if he has a dog. No, he doesn't have a dog. He works too hard. He is married to his job, so he doesn't have a dog. It's fine.
Okay.
He doesn't have kids.
Does he have any other family of any kind?
One parent, because the other one died. And that gives him the resolve to get up and do things.
All right, couple of bonus questions about.
Okay.
Robocop has some prime directives installed. Care to guess at what those might be?
Do not kill.
Okay.
You said plural. Crap. Mm-hmm. I bet he has, like, someone that can give him overriding commands. There's one person that he listens to, and this is becoming a much different movie all of a sudden, based on these directives. Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
It's alright. I'm wondering if number 3 is, like, he has an override, and, like, one of the bad guys knows it, so he, like, does the override and gets him to kill. It's like a verbal override. Kind of like a safe word, but a reverse safe word.
Okay.
Oh... I bet this has nothing to do with Russians gambling in an alley.
You can cross those out.
No. We've moved on to the bonus round.
Okay.
I am not letting myself cross anything out because, like, okay, the reason why you ask bonus questions is because you've seen these before, or at least done your research. So, like, they're going to be kind of telling questions. I can't change any of this because then I start to second guess everything.
That's very ethical of you.
I try, I like to bring ethics into journalism.
Yeah.
It's all about ethics.
Yeah. That's what we're doing now. Journalism.
Yeah.
It's a public service, really.
Oh my god. You're gonna have so much to cut out. I'm sorry. Alright.
What sort of robot features does he have? Like, what abilities does he get from being a
His
part robot?
visor lets him, like, calculate and see things and, like, target locking. And I'm sure he has things in his robot body that, like, pop out, like, either guns or tasers, or he has, like, he's like a Swiss Army knife. I bet he's got, like, a condiment pinky and...
Did you want me to write condiment pinky?
No.
Because I wasn't gonna.
Okay. But yeah, I think, like, his visor lets him do stuff, and his brain is obviously, like, super robotic brain. I am going to do computations and figure out how to do things, and it's gonna, like, show him, like, alright, here's, like, the hit circle. Here's your batter's box.
Yeah, okay.
The strike zone. And then, yeah, he has guns. I bet he also has rockets, because, I mean, this is the 80s. Come on. I don't know if he can necessarily, like, fly, but I think that they can help, like...
Jet boost of some kind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like, look, I am the Rocketeer. He's not the Rocketeer. He is... It's like, look, I can help break your landing in or help you speed up really fast from running.
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll find out.
Oh, I predict I'm going to get this movie 45% right.
Do you want me to write that?
That was a telling nod. That was a very...
The last time you predicted your score, it helped you get a better score.
No, which then means I didn't predict the score right, because it anyway.
It's a paradox. You can't get it both ways.
Sure, let's just put 45%. Because I have a feeling that half of that stuff that I predicted, like, I bet baseball, the Russian mafia, and him in a car crash aren't going to happen anymore, which makes me sad. But I'm still
Okay.
I'm standing by those predictions because
Sure.
in my head I have a movie already playing. You don't know love. You don't know honor. Does Robocop have to fight a bunch of other Robocops? Is that why they made him Robocop? Oh, I bet Robocop has to fight a bunch of other robots. Oh, it's not Russians.
It's not too late. I mean, I know you have personal standards
I
for
know.
this. You know what? It'll at least be left in the recording so everyone will know that you figured out it was not Russians.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all about... He freaking fights robots. He fights Apple before it was Apple. He fights a bunch of HAL 280s or whatever.
Without further ado, I'm gonna go make some popcorn.
You know, I don't remember 80s movies being that bloody.
Yeah.
I honestly wondered partway through if they just went, Bob, you accidentally added a 0 with the gallons of blood that we needed.
I remember as a child thinking of this as a horror movie.
Really?
When I saw it the first time. That robot animation of the Ed.209 was terrifying.
Yeah, that was really good animation. Like... I mean, when you look at it now and you watch it on a high-def TV in the old 80s film, you're obviously like, oh, yuck, yuck. But I think it actually holds up fairly well because they did a good job of keeping the plot simple. I am both impressed and saddened on how right I got things that I thought I would get wrong. Well, because I was trying to do the formulaic, like, in the 80s, who were the bad guys? And it was primarily the Russians in the 80s. So, because, you know, Cold War. The weird news snippets made me strangely happy. And I was glad to see that bad 80s sweaters were still a thing in the future.
Yep.
All right, let's see my damage.
Well, you knew Detroit.
Yep.
Because the statue, I guess.
I guessed the statue was in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I honestly didn't know. Like, part of me was like, is it Philly? Nah, it has to be Detroit.
All right, well, you got Detroit. He and Lewis shared sort of a
bond.
A bond, but I don't know if you'd call it romantic.
I don't know if I'd call it romantic either, but he had a wife.
I guess if you assume he loved his wife, then yeah, he had a love interest, but...
He also had a kid, which was weird.
I don't know if he was the best cop on the force, which you said he was. Like top aces cop.
Oh yeah, I completely assumed he was going to be the top aces cop.
But here's where things get fun. Right before he just gets 1,000 bullets shot into him, the bad guy taunts him by saying, "Boy, you must be the best cop for coming in here by yourself." So one person thought he was the best cop, but you did not call car crash, sadly.
I know, I'm sad about that. Oh well. I was just way too excited about how he became Robocop, and I essentially expected him to go down in like a flaming wreck, not be torn apart by bullets, aka shotguns of all things. Like, that was just painful to watch. I'm impressed that they even brought him to the hospital, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I at least appreciate the fact that they tried, but I was like looking at that going like, no.
Catchphrase, dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Yeah.
No Russians.
No Russians.
I'm sorry.
He did not have a partner that betrayed him.
No.
I'm actually kind of glad, but...
Yeah, I can see how you might guess that, knowing that it's like a cop film, but...
Right. I didn't know that the partner was going to be female. Had I known that, I actually wouldn't have said that at all. Because usually female partners don't betray, they become the love interest, so I would have been like, oh yeah, like she's totally going to be the love interest. And they were kind of macking on each other in the beginning. It says like, there it is.
Yep. Flirty.
Yep. Anyway.
The big bad guy did not die by his own hand.
No.
He was brutally murdered.
Yep.
In the name of justice.
Yep.
Here's another interesting one. You went back and forth between whether or not there would be helicopters in this movie.
Yep.
And there were not, but with minutes to spare, he mentioned getting to the chopper.
Yep. Like, here's why I went back and forth on the chopper. Because if it was basically going to be like a street gang movie, I was like, no, they're not going to do that. Like, why would you do that? But the way it was kind of leading, where it's like, oh, well, if it's actually the military that did this, and or if it was like a corporation that did this, they have to have a helicopter, because that's like a sign of power and money. Yeah, I'm happy to take half credit on that. Yeah. The struggle was real with the helicopter.
He verified that there was one on the roof.
Yeah.
You just didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I think that's
that
partial
at least
credit.
Counts. Yeah, that's partial credit.
But you get full credit for drugs and stuff. Boy, were there drugs, and boy, was there stuff.
Oh, man. I got stupid happy when he's like, drugs and gambling and pride. And I was like, yeah! Oh, I should not be cheering this.
I could see how someone might argue that there was a montage of his, like, vision flickering in and out when the scientists were, fixing him up. But I can also see how that is not a montage.
I didn't see it as a montage.
Yeah.
So you can just put an X on that one.
Okay.
I did not get... Because that, in all honesty, when I think of montage, like, yes, I can see how that could be argued to be a montage, but the montage I was thinking was literally like, learn how to target things, like, learn how to walk. Like, I could basically just see him going through rehabilitation that they sped up. So, okay, I actually want to look something up.
The Tigers are a baseball team, yes.
They are?
Yes. So, if any sport was mentioned at all in this, it was baseball.
That makes me so happy.
There was no reason for him to say that he doesn't miss a Tigers game. That doesn't need to happen in this movie. But he said it.
We have no idea if one of his parents were alive.
Yeah, that didn't factor in.
Nope.
But he did have more family than that, which means you got it wrong.
And that's fine. But yeah, we have no idea if he had parents. I assume yes, but no idea if he had parents.
Someone probably gave birth to him.
Yeah.
And as for bonus questions, his directives had nothing to do with not killing anybody.
Yeah,
he was totally free to kill people.
He was.
But you did sort of catch on to the fact that he would have, like, a secret override of some kind.
Yep. Well, come on.
That would factor in. So.
He's a robot cop. One could say a Robocop.
You could say that, but that sounds stupid, so we'd have to think of a different name.
Yeah, it's fine. It was basically like if they were the top tier of the company, which how would he know? Would they have to like upload that in his database all the time? Or would they just have to be like, oh, by the way, I'm like SVP of this company? Anyway, whatever, it's fine.
There weren't that many of them, I'm sure.
No, but...
It was programmed in.
Well, I mean... They had a pretty high turnover rate because of this film.
Yeah, it'd be risky if you were a new guy.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to wait for a firmware update or whatever.
Yeah.
You knew that he had a visor. Obviously, you called that it would show him
the classic look.
Calculations of some sort.
Yeah.
He has a gun that could pop out.
Oh my god, I said that?
You kind of said things.
Oh man, I'm smart.
I'll give you credit for it.
Yeah.
Not for rockets. He did not have rockets.
but his, like, younger brother did.
Yeah, Ed.209 had rockets.
Yeah.
But then he murdered Ed.209.
Well, Ed.209 was kind of uppity.
No jet boost of any kind. Pretty slow, actually.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. There was so much blood in this film. Like, when he got his arm blasted off, I mean, it wasn't a geyser, but there was more blood than you normally lose out of an arm, I feel.
I haven't seen it happen, so
Me neither,
I can't verify.
It just seemed comical. Anyway, whatever, it's fine.
Sadly, or maybe happily, you did not get a 45% like you called, so that did end up lowering your score.
It's fine.
So you're sitting around a 60.
That's fine. Maybe next time I'm gonna override my, whatever that's called, purity drive or whatever, like the... No, after the bonus, because, yeah,
Right.
I was...
Yeah, if you just set aside your ethics next time and allow yourself to change your predictions a little bit more,
Yeah.
you'll be in better shape.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something we can think about in the future.
Do you want to watch the sequels before we watch the remake?
Wait, there were sequels?
Yeah. Depends on how deep you want to go down this robo hole,
That got lewd.
which is like a USB port, but you use a spike that comes out of your middle finger.
Like Wolverine! But we can only do one, not three, so it's not, infringement. Hey everyone! Thank you for watching this episode of Spoilers Maybe. We do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Please consider giving us a subscription. That way you will be able to know every time we upload a new episode every Tuesday. This part?
Yeah,
like
the
cheeks
part
and mouth?
that no one can see that
Yeah.
you're touching right now, because we're not on
Cheeks
video.
and mouth. If I slap it hard enough, they'll know.
Gonna make some sort of a pun? Is that what that face is?
I was gonna make a lewd comment on how technically I could argue that the computer and him.
Cyber parts.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
I could though. But
Depends on if we cut out all the space dildo stuff in the beginning.
You know what? I think next episode I should try not to say something offensive.
Okay. We'll see how that works out.
Wow, there was so much belief in that. So much belief. Thankfully, you edit out most of my horrible things that I say. Thank you.
So I'll make it seem like you didn't say anything.
Thank you. Look at me. I did a good job. Thank you, editing. Okay, so I totally think that instead of Russians, I'm sad that it's not the Russians, that it's an entire robot army and they need to have someone who is a robot but also has emotions, and he has to fight an entire, conglomerate because this... What are those called? Businessmen? Is wanting to take over the, cop business, and they have to show that, love and human emotions are still needed because the robots can't make choices on their own. And so Robocop is the only one who is capable of fighting them because he still has love and honor in his heart. So basically, it's Robocop fights capitalism. Am I pretty close with that? There's no way that was long enough for popcorn.